I can sing for you. Woo woo. All right, so let me explain real fast what's going on with the music and what's happening. So, what's up, everyone? So, the other day, I go to play this music and I'm thinking everything is fine. I don't have to pay for it. YouTube has it in there that it's normally like $9.99, but because I have, 20,000 subscribers, there's no charge for it. So then all of a sudden I got a copyright strike. I'm like, what the fuck? So then I really looked at the fine print, and the fine print says that you're only allowed to use it one time, and it's not for videos. It's not for live shows. It's only for uploads. So I'm free to use the music in like an upload, and then I could use it per video, on that one video at no charge and no copyright strike, and I'll get full monetization on it, but you can't use it on a live. So I haven't had the time to put together a video yet where I'm going to be using it. So I apologize. You gone jail? I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I got a copyright strike when it says it's royalty free and it's free. So yeah, crazy. But welcome to YouTube. Can't seem to figure out which way they're going. It's beyond ridiculous. Because, in my studio, it says zero charge. Okay, so I go to play it. It's supposed to be royalty free, zero charge. Now, mind you, these bands that I played are not even signed bands. So I don't know who they're talking about getting royalty, but yeah, they're not signed bands to begin with. Because I looked up the two that I played. The song is from 2012. Yeah, it should be free. I wouldn't pay for a song that's not. But either way, I was like, wow, a copyright strike? Not a copyright strike, a content ID strike, where I won't get monetization on it and it goes against me. And the only reason I care that it goes against me is because I'm trying to get my stupid shopping button, and any kind of copyright like that won't allow it. So I can promote someone else's products, but I can't promote my own yet. And that's really frustrating. So yeah. So I'm trying to be really, really good with all the copyrights. And so that happened. So I know Banfield starts in 3 minutes. So I want to see what she's talking about first. And then we'll talk about this, because this is like, whoa. But I want to see what she's talking about first, because I know a lot of you guys can't watch it without me. And it's kind of good because it keeps me alive. And I do apologize about last night. The reason why I didn't go live is we were in tornado watch, and it was very, very, internet was spotty. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah, maybe in the bar room.
I was like, you know what? I don't even want to bother.
Bar room. Yeah.
Because I don't want it to constantly kick out. So, Bannerfield, yeah. I like the smashing things at the beginning myself. There you go. Smashing things are good. So, while we're waiting for Banfield, I don't even know what's on, but I heard that the Murdaugh trial was really good today. I don't watch it because it's boring, but I did hear from a couple of different places that it was really good. So I don't know what happened. She's probably going to talk about it, because it came through here yesterday. Yeah, it was really bad. Hey, Crystal. But COVID has also literally kicked my fucking ass, and I kid you not. I'll usually bounce right back from being sick, and I almost feel like I'm getting sick again. Like, it's really cold out today. It's 32 degrees. Now, mind you, I'm in Alabama. That's fucking cold. So it's like really, really cold. But I've been like so lethargic and tired and wanting to just lay down. Now, granted, I'm trying to make up for an entire week that I missed, and that takes time. But I've just never been this drained before. I've never been like where I can't kick back from it. And I'm just like, wow, this is bad. Hey, Don. I had to leave at 4. We had a put our... I'm sorry. Yeah, even UPS was closed yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. Yeah, see, Stone, I can't have that. Like, I am too busy of a person to do that and to live like that. So I just expected me to pop back up, no problem, once it was over. And it's not like that. I'm really having a hard time coming back from it. And I'm trying. But maybe it's just my way of people telling me slow the fuck down. My body's way of telling me slow down because I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Speaking of spring chickens, I heard that Bruce Willis is a goner, basically. He has a certain type of dementia, which he will never come back from. And it's sad. And every time I hear of somebody else with it, I just say, well, just know I'm going to go on my own.
Have made it through your work week. You've made it through your school week. You've made it through your whatever week. But boy, have we ever got a wrap up for this Friday night, starting with exclusive reporting on the Idaho quadruple murder case. So there's a lot that you have already been told about this case. There's a lot that you know about the scene of the crime. There is a lot that you know about the person who was arrested, Bryan Kohberger, and charged with 4 first-degree murders. Those are death penalty eligible murders. But there is some knowledge about Bryan Kohberger that we are just learning about. And we can tell you via multiple sources who are directly connected to this case how Bryan Kohberger feels about the mountain of evidence that has just thus far been made public or has been sourced. And really, folks, at this early offing, I can promise you it's the tip of the iceberg. At this early stage of a case, with just a probable cause affidavit and an arrest warrant, etc., we don't even know the half of it. But at this point, what we do know is fair to call a mountain of evidence against Bryan Kohberger in the murders of those 4 innocent college kids at the University of Idaho in Moscow. So I can tell you that he's been talking, and he has been saying that he is, quote, confident that he will be exonerated. And those are his words, exonerated. And I know what you're saying, because if you're a true crime buff and you follow the law, if you're a lawyer, you particularly know there's a difference between being acquitted and exonerated. And he's, a master's in criminology and in a doctoral program before all of this business. And yet he used the word exonerated, not once, but twice. We learned that back in Pennsylvania when he was arrested. That's what his defense attorney, his public defender in Pennsylvania, said, that he looks forward to being exonerated, which I thought was a strange choice of words, because sometimes in common parlance, you'll say that, like, I'm going to be absolved of all of this kind of thing. I'm innocent. But in legal terms, exonerated usually refers to being convicted and then afterwards, upon appeal, being cleared. So I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if he's using the common word exonerated or if he's using the legal word, because he is, criminology master's student, doctoral program, probably knows the difference. But he didn't say the words acquitted. And this is not false bravado, according to our sources. He truly believes he is going to beat the rap. Again, Bryan Kohberger, according to our sources, multiple sources directly connected to this case, saying that he believes, he is confident he's going to be exonerated, that he will beat the rap. Now, here's what I don't know. I don't know how much.
Okay, let me just also add, that's standard for any prisoner. Any single person in jail, before they get convicted, will tell you they're beating it, they're getting exonerated, they didn't do it, and they're innocent, just so you know.
Much access he's had to discovery yet. That's his attorney beside him. That's Ann Taylor, the public defender. She is a whip-smart lawyer, one of the best lawyers in Idaho. She is a great attorney. There are the issues that we've discussed on this show, the conflict of interest potential, As we reported last night exclusively, she's met with the judge. The judge has done a review and cleared her of the conflict. That doesn't mean it's the end of the case, because the prosecution, as we're told, is not keen on the idea of her continuing to represent Bryan Kohberger, because who wants to have an appellate issue if they get a conviction in this case? So we don't know how much he's been given in the way of discovery. We don't know how much of the prosecution's case his lawyer has had her hands on and then shared with her client. We don't know how much press reports he's been able to actually consume. There's a TV in the Moscow jail, but it's one, and everybody has to agree to what they watch, and who knows if they want to watch the news. Maybe they want to watch, Dr. Phil. I don't know. But we don't know how much he has seen, and we don't know how much he's consumed about this case. But you, the viewer, if you're watching this program, I know you, and you have seen a lot. It's a mountain of evidence. It is a very strong case, and it's full. It's got this big old basket of something we call bad facts. That's a term. That's a term used in the business, in the legal, industry. Bad facts. They are bad facts for Bryan Kohberger. I'm going to lay them out for you because it's been a minute, right? It's been several.
I kind of disagree with her, but let's hear what she says.
Months since all of this transpired. He was arrested on the 30th of December. And since then, it's been just sort of like, whoa, so much information has sort of, avalanched out. I want to just get you up to speed to sort of refresh your memory on everything, okay? This is like the scorecard, the prosecution's scorecard. So let's start with the physical evidence at the crime scene. That's the victim's home. First, there was that knife sheath. I think that's numero uno, because it had Kohberger's DNA on it, and it was found right next to, Maddie and Kaylee up on that third floor in Maddie's room. That is circumstantial evidence, okay? It's not a witness. It is circumstantial, but it's strong circumstantial evidence. And then there is the direct evidence. Dylan Mortensen, she's an eyewitness. She testified. She hasn't testified, but she told the police that she saw a guy who looked exactly like Bryan Kohberger. She even talked about his bushy eyebrows, and that's pretty smart, having that kind of a clear view of someone. Not only that, she talked about the height and the physique of him. So that was pretty smart. And the police also spotted his white Hyundai Elantra, right? And so that's going to come up in a second. But third, there's the footprint, the latent footprint that was found in blood at the scene. That was outside of Dylan's room. And it's important to note that because Dylan actually said she saw the path of the killer walk by her and head out the kitchen sliding glass door. So if that latent footprint turns out to be his, her testimony lines right up with the path that he took to leave the house. So the next thing I want to talk about is his apartment in Pullman, Washington, because there was some strong evidence that was seized from that apartment as well. So let's go to the next screen in the scorecard. So here's the list. I'm going to go over it quick. A disposable black glove, receipts from Walmart and Marshall's, a dust container from the vacuum, a Fire TV stick, a computer tower, an item with a dark red spot. Usually that means blood, but they test it later. 2 pieces of an uncased pillow with a, quote, reddish brown stain. Again, usually blood, but they test it later. Mattress covers, possible hair strands, and 1 possible animal hair strand. So the hairs, the human and the animal hairs, that's critical, right? Because if any of those turn out to be one of the 4 victims in this, or hey, I'll even say if they turn out to be the 2 surviving roommates, that would have to put him in some kind of connection to those 6 people in that house and to the 5 particular girls. Okay, the next thing is Murphy the dog. If one of those hairs is from Murphy the dog, pretty hard to explain away why you've got a hair from the dog at a murder scene in your apartment in another state, in another town. Okay, so there's the physical. I want to get to the digital evidence now on the scorecard. I told you it was a mountain, right? I'm on item and category number 3. There are the multiple videos of the white Hyundai Elantra. Remember I mentioned that before? That's his vehicle. And even though the license plate doesn't show up in the videos, the car matches the make and the model in the videos of Kohberger's car. And it's spotted at the very same time and in the vicinity of the murders. Kohberger's cell phone is also critical evidence. The phone records are really damning for him. The car alone may not prove as much because you can't see who's driving it, but if you match those to his phone records, you know, those phone records are pretty strong. The movement of the Elantra seems to really coincide with the phone records before and after the murders. There's cell phone pings around the victim's home 12 times in the months leading up to the murders, and 11 of them are late at night. And then, of course, that phone, you know, it's leaving Pullman, Washington before the murders, just like within 2 hours, right? And then it goes dark. Strangely, it's out, you know, out and about at 2:47 a.m. It just decides to go dark. And then 2 hours later, 2 hours and 1 minute later, it actually pops back on the scene south of Moscow. So that's pretty damning, too. And then third, there's the alleged Instagram account. So, you know, category number 4 here. An investigator close to the case told People magazine that in late October, an Instagram account that the authorities have tied to Kohberger actually reached out and messaged one of the victims repeatedly. He didn't get a reply, allegedly. And by the way, those categories, that mountain of evidence, that's all we know so far. That's just so far. And we're so early in this case. So I need someone to help me navigate. And Sarah Azari is great at this. She's a criminal defense attorney. She knows a thing or two about these kinds of cases. I know that early in a case, Sarah, we usually don't have this much, right? This is a lot. And honestly, this just came from a probable cause affidavit and a couple of other police reports. I tend to think that there's going to be so much more. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Ashley, good to be with you. You know, there probably is already so much more, and they just, you know, they don't have to put all of that in the probable cause affidavit. I remember when I read the 19-page affidavit, I thought, this is actually a lot more than I'm used to seeing. Usually I get, you know, anywhere from 3 to 4 pages. There's not as many dots to connect. Obviously here, there was 2 months of, you know, from the pings to the car to the, there was just way too many dots. So obviously it's a more lengthy affidavit, more information in it. But still, my first impression was there's definitely probable cause on probable cause on probable cause here. Is it proof beyond a reasonable doubt? Absolutely not.
Does anyone remember the Seinfeld episode with the pirate shirt? That's what her shirt reminds me of, the pirate shirt. That is probably the ugliest shirt I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Just saying.
And that sort of brings me to one of the points you made about the discovery. One of the things that I've thought, Ashley, is that, you know, everyone's waiting for this June preliminary hearing to come around, which is obviously our opportunity to poke holes at the prosecution's case. It's our opportunity to find out what their theory is, who their witnesses are. But that may not actually happen because this case may very well go to grand jury indictment. Prosecutors always, not always, but often surprise us. They don't want us to know everything about the case and their witnesses and how they perform, what they say. So what they'll do is, you know, they'll submit the case to grand jury and we might get a surprise indictment very close to that June date or sometime even before.
But at some point, he's going to have to walk into a courtroom and enter a plea, right? Like, and I don't know. It's really weird. Every jurisdiction's a little bit different. Sometimes you actually get information during those hearings. Sometimes you're just waiting for a plea, and it's you know, sort of pro forma, and out they go. But we could hear something more.
Right, absolutely. So let's talk about my jurisdiction or New York, for example. I'm in LA. We get a lot of discovery up front, even before the preliminary hearing. It gives us a chance to prepare for that hearing, do an effective job at cross-examining the prosecution's evidence and witnesses. And then, but through the cross-examination, we can extract more information. Of course, there's no jury around. It's just the judge and the attorneys. But it's a very, very critical part of a case. And it's really thereafter where you can decide whether what the case is worth. What is it going to look like at trial? You've done the investigation, you have their discovery, you've done the probable cause hearing, the preliminary hearing, and then you can sort of assess whether this guy should plead or, you know, cut his damages or go to trial. So I always try to do the prelim before I make a decision about somebody pleading. Can't really say what that means to Kohberger, you know, because I don't know what they have. I bet they have a lot more that we don't know about. But what that is, I don't know.
So that makes me think, you know, well, I'll ask you a couple of technical questions connected to the breaking news tonight, this exclusive that Kohberger seems confident he's going to be exonerated. Would there have been any possibility for plea discussions before he ever even enters a plea? I mean, could something happen between now and June where this whole thing goes away? Things went so fast with Chris Watts, but Chris Watts had entered a plea before plea deals actually ended up, locking him away for life and toe tag parole. Do you see with this confidence that we're hearing about, first of all, technically, is there any potential for something to happen before June, a deal? Or second of all, any chance that this bravado will be assuaged?
Well, I think it's possible, but unlikely, right? I mean, this is a death penalty case. What kind of incentive do they have to give you a great deal, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but highly unlikely. But to your point about exoneration, that's a term that's often misused. People use it interchangeably to mean factually innocent. I think maybe Kohberger meant that, hey, I've been convicted in the court of public opinion, so now I'm going to get exonerated. I don't know, but it's a very interesting choice of words. And again, I think we're giving him a lot of credit about, being this PhD student in criminology, et cetera. But if he truly committed this crime, he didn't really do that great of a job, right? I mean, leaving the knife sheath behind and all kinds of signs, not having a burner phone, et cetera, is rookie to me,
If I had a dime for all of the super duper smart criminals that thought that they had figured it all out, planned it, and, crossed every T and dotted every I, I always said I'd have a yacht, in the Seychelles. But, and even, Alec Murdaugh, which is what we're going to cover in a little bit, there's a lawyer who, if he did it, was dumb as paint, really, honestly, just not done well at all. I have this question for you about circumstantial evidence. A lot of people say, oh, it's just a circumstantial case. And the truth of the matter is just about every case I've ever covered is a circumstantial case because we just don't get a lot of direct eyewitness, testimony to rapes and murders, et cetera. But how much circumstantial evidence, Sarah Azari, do you think is reasonably enough, or does it just depend on who is in that jury box?
Well, I think, first of all, Ashley, a majority of my cases, I would say probably 90% of my cases, and certainly my murder cases, have been circumstantial. I mean, I wish we had percipient witnesses because, it would, as a prosecutor, I wish we had percipient witnesses. But circumstantial cases are just as strong as direct evidence cases. Sometimes there's a lot of dots to connect. Sometimes there's a few dots to connect. But, I don't think it's any weaker than a direct evidence case. I just think it depends on the case, depends on the circumstances. And the other misperception is that if you don't have the murder weapon, that somehow you don't get a conviction. And that's absolutely wrong as well.
Yeah, and I've always said that also extends to cases without bodies, because I've seen plenty of convictions where even the body has not been discovered. And we're going to be, doing a lot of coverage on Anna Walsh, right? Also in Cohasset, Massachusetts. So that's a great study for, anybody out there who's either a crime buff or a law student. Those are incredible cases. Okay, last quick question. The fact that Kohberger uttered the words, this is the Pennsylvania video, right, when he was making an appearance there. He uttered the words, has anyone else been arrested, right? That's what a source had told us upon arrest. That has led to a lot of people creating these theories that there's a second killer or an accomplice. That's a tough row to hoe, in any case. But give me your characterization of how you think that might wind its way into this particular case, given this incredibly complex crime scene.
Mm-hmm. So that resonated with me. I remember when I first heard that, I thought it was a pretty loaded question. It was almost rhetorical. And I do believe that he's almost implying that you're singling me out. There's been so much pressure to make an arrest that you decided it's me. And I don't know if that's going to be part of his defense. I mean, I definitely don't think it's incriminating, but it could certainly be used by his public defender if there's evidence that maybe they didn't investigate all the potential suspects to exclude them. That certainly can come into play. But that did stick out to me when I first heard it. I thought, oh, this guy, maybe he knows what happened and he's asking if others have been arrested, or he's already planting the seed that, hey, you're singling me out. Very similar to Murdaugh almost in that respect.
Well, I was thinking that maybe it's like criminology 101. It was like one of the first things that he learned was that sometimes investigators zero in too myopically on one person, and that can be an issue,
Right.
you know, for the defense. Maybe it's just like, well, he thought of that one and thought that was clever. But in any case, we have so much more to learn. I just find it fascinating that our sources say he has this confidence that nothing to see here. Anyway, Sarah,
Yeah.
I loved having you. I hope you'll come back. Thank you.
Me too, for sure. Good to see you, Ashley.
You two have a great weekend. Well deserved. Okay, still to come. How fast do you move? I know that's kind of a weird question, but I am kind of curious what you think you can accomplish in 17 seconds. Because if Alex Murdaugh is telling the truth that he didn't kill his wife and son, he would have had to race at breakneck speed to cover all the ground that he did after the murders. And yet there's a hitch. I'm about to show you a timeline, and the defense would do well to pay very close attention. That's next.
So is she saying Murdaugh didn't do it? Is that what I'm kind of hearing? That he didn't do it? So one thing I will say about Banfield, I disagree with her heavily tonight. That's why I pulled the screenshots of what they're showing. And I'll pull them up after she's over. But yeah, I got to disagree with her. The evidence against, I'll get to Murdaugh after, but the evidence against Kohberger is not strong at all. At this moment, every single one, I'm not a defense attorney, and literally every single one of those I can eliminate. I could justify, I could eliminate. So stop putting in the public how strong it is, because it's not at all. At all. So that's what everyone keeps saying. Prosecution hasn't done a good job. What troll? I didn't even see a troll. It can be explained away. I'm going to go through it once she's done. But I'll tell you one thing, though, that I've learned that I'm seeing a lot more of now. Money can't get you out of shit anymore. Money used to be able to buy you out of stuff. But like Real Housewives, they got plenty of money. She's going to jail 6 years. Now, federal jail is a little different than state jail. It's more like a country club, but it's still 6.5 years. That's a long time. And she's my age. I heard she was 52. So 52, 6 years, that's a long time. I did 30 days. It was a lot. And I wasn't in federal. I couldn't even imagine being away from my kids for 6 years. That's a long time. Thanks, Bad Wolf. There's a few, yeah, but there's nothing in it that can't be taken back. Big giant white cock? I didn't even see them. That's what I'm saying, Noni. Crisley like money can't buy you shit anymore. They can't. It used to be where money got you out of shit. The only person I've seen that money has prolonged a jail sentence is Erica Jane. She should be in jail. She really should. And she's not. But also, I don't know if you guys noticed the bottom of the screen when Banfield was playing. It seems that, hold on. Hold on. I'm live and everyone can hear you.
Okay, so can I spend the night at Allie's house?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Love you.
Love you too. Love you. Alright. I had to warn her. Alright. The New Jersey, yeah, but she didn't go, I think she only did like a year. But this girl's doing 6.5 years. Say what again? I'm just telling you, I don't think that money's getting people out of shit anymore. Not like it used to.
Case, and the prosecution's coming to the end, as they have in Alex Murdaugh's murder case. They wrapped the case in chief today. They always like leave some really big tuna stuff for the end, right? Because you want to leave a big impression with the jury before, you know, your opponent over there, the defense, is going to come in and start ripping you apart. So they did. They came up with like a magic 17 seconds today. Holy cow. I could not do all the things that it seems were done in 17 seconds by Alex Murdaugh. And the reason I say that is because they took the OnStar data from Alex Murdaugh's Suburban. And what happened was he drove up to the Moselle Ranch, right, to make the big discovery of his wife and son at 10:05:57. 10:05:57, okay? I'll get to all that really busy stuff in a sec. But he drove right to the kennels, and at 10:06:14, that's 17 seconds later, he's already calling 911. So he's pulling up in the car to the kennels, and within 17 seconds, he's calling 911. But the problem is, if you're pulling up in the pitch black and you see two people lying on the ground, and you jump out and you run to one of them and the other, and then you do the things he said he did, like I checked their pulses, I tried to roll my son over, his phone fell out of his pocket, and then I realized, and then I called you. That's 17 seconds. I don't know. It's just, I couldn't do it in 17 seconds. First, there's the shock value, where you just can't believe what you're seeing, and you're thinking, no, 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 and you're trying to wake them, and this can't be real. And so this is what they really ended on, this big 17-second bam, right? Doesn't sound like it's possible, does it? I want you to look at this timeline, though, and I want Andrew Davis to do this with me, because Andrew Davis has been in this courtroom every single day of this trial. He's the WSAV investigative reporter. He's our partner, you know, at Nexstar News Nation. So, Andrew, I don't know if you've got a monitor there where you can also see this, and we're going to zero in on this fine print, because I think it's so important for people to see the facts, right? Let's start at 8:38:07. I'm giving you the seconds because the seconds matter. From 8:38:07 to 8:44:56, that's almost 7 minutes, Paul's phone is at the kennels. At 8:44:55, Paul takes that video, and Alex's voice is, you know, allegedly on the back. About 4 minutes later, 8:49:01, Paul's phone locks forever. 30 seconds later, Maggie's phone locks forever. That's the time that authorities think that Maggie and Paul are killed. Just over 3.5 minutes later, at 8:53:15 to 8:55:32, Maggie's phone shows 59 steps, all these orientation changes. That happens over the course of 2 minutes and 15. And then about 11 minutes after that, at 9:06:12, Maggie's phone changes orientation from landscape, from portrait to landscape. And that's the time that Alex's phone is actually connecting to his car. So if Maggie's dead, and if Maggie's dead and her phone is changing, and Alex is getting into the car all at that same time, it's a bit curious. 13 seconds later, Alex is leaving at 9:07:06. Makes a bunch of calls and texts to family. 15 minutes later, he arrives at mom's house at 9:22. About 21 minutes later, 9:43:18, he leaves mom's house, makes a bunch of calls and texts. 13 minutes later, he gets back to the ranch, gets back to Moselle. All of a sudden, 9:56:57 to 10:06:57, his phone is doing like 231 steps. And during that period of time, he's actually pulling in. Like, it's weird. At 10:00:30, he's pulling in. At 10:00:36 to 43, 10:43, his car is going in and out of park. 4.5 minutes later, 10:05:06, his vehicle leaves the main house. 51 seconds later, here's the magic 17 seconds. So I'll tell you what, Andrew, that magic 17 seconds might be the thing that sticks out most in that timeline.
No, it absolutely does. And the defense really tried to work on that for them, even going so far as to put a timer on there for 20 seconds, not 17, so people could see how much it is and say, oh, well, absolutely, you can go ahead and check 2 pulses and get over the shock of seeing your dead wife, your dead son, and the violent way that they died. all in that time and said, well, if their headlights had been pointed right at them, then they would have seen him already. So he would have had that moment of shock gone before he went and rushed over to talk to him. I think the timeline has been their biggest issue on the defense side from the beginning. As messy as this investigation has been on the prosecution side, they can't account for this timeline. And I know what we don't have in there, too, is the fact that he was speeding at a high rate of speed going to and from his mom's house at 70 plus miles an hour in parts. Now he was 37 to 42 miles an hour when he got to the point where Maggie's phone suddenly was found, and it was found about a mile away from Moselle. So there's the thought of he was at 37 to 42. Could he have thrown it out the window there? He gets to mom's. They've never checked mom's till months later. So could he have moved clothes? Could he have moved something else there instead too? And that's where prosecutors haven't connected all those dots yet. The timeline is messy. They've pushed this, but they also have so many other holes that don't connect Alec directly to a weapon or the blood that's there or would be all over him, you'd think, if he was checking pulses.
Well, there's all that water and the hose that was.
Let me make this really simple. Murdaugh hired someone to kill his family. Ding, 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 ding.
Washed himself off, if that's the theory of the prosecutors. I also wanted to ask you about this other amazing moment. I love that OnStar is basically our car spy, right? You've got phone spy, now car spy too. So when he's coming back from his mom's, he is hightailing it. I think he reached, 81 miles an hour on the way back? You know Low Country, you know these back roads. Is this a place where it'd be easy to go 81 miles an hour, or that you might just not notice you're going 81?
Well, beyond that, as much as anything, that's a road that he knows very well. And one of the specific things the investigators said is, I know that road too, and it's a heavy area for deer. And you don't go 81 miles an hour when you think your truck is going to slam into a deer somewhere. You know better than that and know what's on those roads, and you wouldn't fly through there. So he was probably about 25 miles an hour more than when he was coming back from work to come home too, during that time coming back from mom. So you have to wonder, why was he in such a rush to get back and forth? Because he was 70 plus miles an hour going to his mom's, then only spent 21 minutes, not the hour and a half that he thought, but that verifies the caretaker's version of the fact of he was there. What he did from there, we're not really sure, but he clearly wanted to get back to the house quickly. Then he got back there, spent about 5 minutes at the house, and suddenly showed up at the kennels, and that's where the 17 seconds come into play.
Those 17 seconds are super weird and very, very powerful to end a case in chief for the prosecution. Okay, I know you're going to be on the job where the defense case in chief begins. Probably not Monday because it's a holiday, but we're going to call you again. Andrew, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too, Ashley. Thanks.
All right, still to come, Alex Murdaugh's body language. Oh, boy. You know, he hasn't talked, right? He hasn't talked yet, anyway. But what is his language telling us? Because there are a lot of experts who say he's been screaming.
I don't know. To me, this case screams, literally screams, that he hired someone to do it. It's that simple. He hired someone to do it. And they called him. They said it's done. And then he went there and he knew to call 911. He had no blood on him. Like, I don't even have to watch the trial and I can tell you what happened. I don't know. I'm pretty convinced that he hired someone to do it. Look at the times I met. He knew someone was there. So all he had to do was, all that person had to do is let him know when it was done. Because if he did what he said he did, check for pulse, turn them over, all that other crap, guess what? And you guys are forgetting something too. Maybe he wasn't the one driving his car. You know, I love people that know I've tried watching it whistle down. These lawyers bore me to tears. But what I'm saying is, everybody assumes that it was him driving the car coming back. Maybe it wasn't him driving it. Maybe one of his buddies were driving his car and he was at the place and he actually did kill them. But people I hear that a lot. People forget that. Just because it's your road Of course he's going to say he was driving it stoned. He would have had to. Because then he knows that doesn't place him at the time that he was dead. I mean, that they were killed. So of course he's going to say he drove it. His car went to his mom's. He was driving his car. Maybe. Maybe not. They could have met halfway. Good point. Did his car stop anywhere? Maybe he wasn't alone at his mom's. I don't know. But there is a good chance that he wasn't driving his car. Maybe his mom lied. Maybe he was never at his mom's. And maybe his car was at his mom's and his friend was at his mom's. But maybe he was actually never at his mom's. They say he was at his mom's 20 minutes. Did his mom testify? Does his mom have dementia? I mean, there's a million questions I got. The mom's caregiver said he was there. Okay, so she had a conversation with them? I'm just saying people lie. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying people lie. People lie to save their ass. They lie to save their jobs. God, he's old. Mom has to be taken care of, so mom never saw him. Hey, Edward, I'm just saying it's possible. But I also want to say, did you guys read the bottom of that? That China and Mexico are the cause of all this fentanyl being trafficked into the U.S.? That's pretty crazy. I tried listening to the trial. It is so fucking boring. Believe me, I've tried. I've tried a couple of times. It is boring. The mom's caretaker testified and saw him. He tried to get the caretaker to lie previously and she exposed him. Okay, she saw him for the whole 20 minutes? Or she saw him for 5 minutes? See, he wasn't there as long as he said he was. That 2-year-old news. What's 2-year-old news? I'm telling you.
Lot in my life and clearly in this job is that I talk too much. I get it. It's worked for me. But there's so much that can be said with your body and not your mouth. And that's something that a lot of people are looking at with regard to Alec Murdaugh. In the court, on video, during interrogations, it's actually really profound, some of the things that people are saying he has been doing without saying anything. And when I say people, smart people who know a lot more about this science than I do. For instance, Scott Rouse. He has been trained alongside the FBI, the Secret Service, the U.S. military intelligence. His expertise has made him a consultant to law enforcement. He, along with Greg Hartley. Now, Greg has written 10 books on body language and human behavior. He's been recognized by the U.S. Army and trained special operations soldiers to resist interrogation. And he's worked as an anti-terror instructor. And both of these guys host a podcast together called The Behavior Panel, and they're kind enough to navigate a few things with me tonight. Guys, thank you. Let me get right to the video because I want you to look at it and then tell me what you see. I want to start with the body cam video right after the murders where Alec is, you know, frantic-ish, and then all of a sudden he breaks out of this weeping, crying freak out to sort of see a guy and say, hey, how you doing? I want to play it and then hear what you have to say after it. Take a look.
My name is Maggie Murdaugh. Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh. How you doing?
What's her birthday? I'm okay.
9/15/68.
Okay, and what's your son's first name? You said Paul?
Paul Terry Murdaugh.
And what's his birthday?
4. What are they covering them up?
I think I might have missed it. I think someone was talking to my ear. I want to make sure, just with my control, and we had the right clip there where he said, "How you doing?" Can I just get? That was it. I think I just missed it. But Scott, tell me what you thought and what you heard about that.
Well, what we're not seeing here are the facial expressions of horror and someone who's going through the worst time of their entire life, something really shocking, something that should put them in the floor coming out of that. And when someone walks up and says hello, or someone just walks up and doesn't say anything, and your body language turns and you're wide open and you're standing there like that, that's not normal. That's not normal behavior for a situation like this one. Not at all.
Well, not only that, he right away was like telling them there's been a boat accident. I mean, before he really even got into what the hell has happened here, my son, my wife, what's going on? No, it was, there's a boat accident. And he was telling this story before he should be, apoplectic and unable to speak or breathe. I thought this was what did it for me. In this case, this was the moment where I turned where I thought, his guilt and innocence lay. Okay, this next one is the night of the murders. He's inside a vehicle. He's being interviewed by SLED, and then he appears to cry. But I want to direct our audience to the actual waterworks or tears or lack thereof. Take a look.
I could see his brain on his... And I ran over to Maggie, and actually, I think I tried to turn Paul over first. I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket.
Okay, Greg, detail was interesting. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. Maybe that was a detail he remembered and thought it was odd, but the crying part. Everybody grieves differently. A lot of people cry differently, but you're a body language expert. What do you see?
Yeah, so when people do cry, one of the things that they consistently have is this. You see that little arch I created right there? That's a hard one to fake, and it's called a grief muscle. It's 5 muscles coming together, and when people are feeling grief, you see that. You see the sides of their mouth draw. You see a lot of emotion in their face. We see nothing in there. We see that if your child is in trouble today, your child might go, ah, to get out of it. That's what that feels like to me. I don't see a whole lot. I see him covering his eyes or barriering and blocking. That all looks odd. Everything there, we expect to see tears. We expect to see red nose. We expect to see mucus. None of that. We don't see the arch. Interesting.
Well, and also, I don't even think I could breathe. I really, truly believe that if I had, lost 2 members of my family and then in such a horrific murder scene, I'm just not sure I could breathe. I don't even think I could sit up straight. And again, I recognize everybody mourns differently. Everybody behaves to trauma. It behaves in trauma differently. Okay, this next one is the daytime video. He's in a car. He's being interviewed again by SLED. This is June 10th. So it's several days after the murders. Alex seems pretty relaxed, but he asks kind of like, I don't know, he asks what I think is a weird question. He says something like, do you all have any good clues? Which I think, I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of it. Let's take a look at it.
So do y'all have any good clues?
All of the evidence that we collected Tuesday morning, and we collected additional evidence on Tuesday afternoon. They collected evidence at autopsy today. So
Okay, Scott, is there anything in there that I'm not seeing?
I would take a look at his blink rate. His blink rate goes through the roof. Usually when someone starts blinking a whole lot, that means something's on their minds. It usually indicates there's stress there. So up to this point, we've seen his blink rate stay pretty low, because I've seen this video, and it's fairly low up to this point. But when he asks that question about do you have any clues, you see that go through the roof. What he's trying to do is get ahead of it and find out if they know anything yet. Has he missed anything? Is there anything he's forgotten about? Is there anything he didn't cover in his story? Which, as you talked about earlier, he began his story about what happened, when they very first showed up and said, "Oh, my son was in trouble for a boat accident," and a lot of people didn't like him. So this is his continuation to make his story stronger and try to get and see if he's missed anything, trying to find out what they know.
You got me really nervous about
and a
my
quick
blink
note.
rate. Like all of a sudden I started blinking when you said it, and now I can't stop thinking about blinking. Sorry, go ahead. Go
It'll
ahead,
go away in
Greg.
a few minutes.
Yeah, a quick note. What happens is when we create our lie, this guy's had a trigger moment where he gets the opportunity to create a lie, and then he deconflicts that in his head, and that deconflict is only based on what he knows. So before he has to pitch that lie and defend it in front of someone, he wants to know what they know so he can deconflict again. It's human nature. And that blink rate is either his processor or stress has jacked up to the point we can't miss it.
And this stuff is all involuntary, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's just fascinating. Okay. Here's the mother load. I love this next one. This next clip is a SLED interview. This one is happening 2 months after the murders. So let's just get that context. Maybe he's feeling confident. Maybe he hasn't been asked the big question, but here comes the big question. He's asked, did you kill Maggie and Paul? And to my knowledge, this may be the first time he's actually asked this question. So let's take a look at it.
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, David.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not know who did.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
Do you know who did?
No, sir, I do not know who did.
So what do you think, Greg? The no, sir, that to me isn't weird in certain parts of the country. No, ma'am, no, sir is very standard. But I'm just wondering about the arms being crossed, the legs being crossed. Is there anything to that?
See, we're designed to read body language. You're dead on. If this guy had a shell, he would be crawled so deep in it that you wouldn't be able to see his head. What he's doing is turtling, making himself smaller. You see his head shrunk down into his body. He's barriered. He's crossed his abdomen, has his arm between his legs and his...
Let me just point out, 5 seconds ago, when they were looking at him standing, they said he was open and he shouldn't have been so open. And my thought was, well, if he was crossed, you would say there was something wrong with that. And sure enough, how would they like it? They don't want him open. They don't want him closed. Well, how do they want him?
His legs crossed. You can't miss that he's blocking as much as he can. Now, that's not in his baseline. We watched him even in the police car, moving his thighs in and out and that kind of thing without barriers. The no, sir could or could not mean that he has a spike in politeness, and that's a red flag for us. But more importantly, when he's asked, did you kill your wife? There's almost a little chuckle, and he says, did I kill my wife? Repeating the question gives you time before you have to answer. And then I've listened to the guy. He uses contractions a lot. I didn't. He uses 2 non-contracted denials. I did not, and I did not. One of those by itself, no big deal. We look for clusters of behavior changes. There's a lot going on in this, a lot of clusters.
That is so fascinating. Okay, one question to each of you, and it has to kind of be a yes or no because I'm flat out of time. But Scott, do you think, based on what you've seen, do you think he's guilty?
Yes, very much so.
Interesting. Greg?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. As good as I can get.
Do you guys think you'd ever be picked for a jury?
I've tried. we have picked juries, but we've not been picked.
Yeah. I could see you being very, very good as a jury consultant. I could see right away, like, yeah, I'm going to use my strike right there. Guys, thank you. It's great to have you on. I can't wait to have you again. Scott Rouse and Greg Hartley. You'll definitely be invited back.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Good to have you, and fascinating stuff, really. Okay, so after a break, it's that time again, Friday Night Theories. This is where you get to have your say. It's your solutions, your thoughts, your theories with regard to the Murdaugh murders.
I have been watching you with the Murdaugh case since it started.
More of that straight ahead, and some ones we had not heard yet. Next.
Kaz, I said the same thing. That would be the death of me. That would absolutely be the death of me. I could not handle that. Just like I don't want my kids seeing me if I get dementia. Same thing. Nope, nope, nope. You know what? It's sad, though, that Bruce Willis will die not remembering one thing of his life. That's sad. Unless he offs himself like Robin Williams did, but he might be too far gone. Yeah. He won't remember anything in his life. Sad. No, isn't that different guys? Yeah, that's the behavioral panel, Noni. Different guys. I thought they were different guys. Yeah, but that's not the behavioral panel. But it's very easy to look at somebody that you believe is guilty and pick out everything that's wrong. Kind of like a psychic does. Oh, it is the same, guys? Kind of like a psychic does. It's very easy to look up somebody's past. Everybody's got a footprint online and figure out what's going on. It's really not that hard. Oh, those are 2 guys out of the 4. Oh, okay. I think they were different guys. Ah. So I want to tell you guys, I want to show you guys what I got today. Southern gal, I've already said, I'm taking myself out. My kids know it. I told my mom today. She said, well, hopefully I'll be dead already, because I'm not going to bury you at 90 years old. As I'm just telling you, I'm taking myself out. I am not putting my kids through a parent with, not going to make them go broke. And there's no quality of life. So I'm out. I'm going to go out my way. I even thought about it today. I'm going to get really fucked up first. Get high as a motherfucker and take myself out. Not tonight. I'm not diagnosed yet. No, I want to show you guys what I got today. Kimberly Machowski bought me a beautiful necklace and earrings that I want to thank her for. Plus, I ordered some crystals for the crystal tops. I want to show you guys. Plus, I never even talked about the main story tonight, which is Chickie going to jail for 6.5 years because she's a scam artist and she scammed a lot of old people. Unbelievable. Why would you think about that? Because I am not going to put my children through what we all went through with my father. There's no quality of life once you have dementia. You forget everything. I'm not doing it. I want to die my way. Nobody's going to make me die. I'm not going to have this horrible disease where they don't know where to put me, or they're embarrassed of me, or I can't remember my ass from my elbow, and I can't remember my kids' names, and I can't wipe my own ass. No, that'll never happen. I get diagnosed, I'm going out my way. At no matter what age.
It's Friday night, so we like to do this thing like Friday Night Mysteries, except we call it Friday Night Theories, because it's what you think. It's your ideas. You are great at sleuthing. You never miss a beat. And so we invited you to send your videos in of what you think about this Murdaugh case, what you think happened, because everybody's all over the map on this one. If you were watching last week, we love this one. This is Pam Glasscock.
And to be honest with you, I have memories of my father that I wish I didn't have. And, it's just the disease. You just have to remember it's the disease. And I do, but they still stick with me. And it's memories that I wish I didn't have. So I just know that if I did not send a video in, that if I am diagnosed, I am going to go out my way. Just much like Robin Williams. I would not hang myself, though, because I wouldn't want someone to find me. But much like Robin Williams, just going out my way, plain and simple. Is he the first person? He had early onset. He was diagnosed at 63 and he died at 69. We don't know if there were, we weren't close with his family. So I don't know if, like, we knew my grandmother and my cousins, but he has a whole extended family that we don't even know about. So we don't know if they had Alzheimer's or not. His father didn't, his mom didn't. But I take right after my dad, so yeah. I told my mom I don't want to know. Like, I was going to do a 23andMe. I'm like, I don't fucking want to know. And she's like, I don't blame you. I said, I don't. I have a feeling that I'm going to get it. I really do. I take after my dad in every which way, shape, and form. Now, I'm talking if I get early onset. If I'm like 80 and you get dementia from old age, that's a different story. I'm talking if you get it early, like Bruce Willis got it now, or Robin Williams had it very young. That's what I'm talking about. If I'm like 85 and all of a sudden I get dementia, I'm probably not going to out myself. But I'm talking if I'm 50s and 60s. And that's why I said, you know what? You got to live life as, like, I'm 52 now. I plan on living my life. Kids are off to college soon. I will be living my life. Because you only get one life. And I have a feeling I don't have another 20 years. So I'm going to make it the next best 20 years that I got. What age is young for Alzheimer's? In your 60s. I'm 52. 52. Hey, Coffee. So, yeah. Nope, Mickey, I'm old. But I thought about that this morning. With fucking COVID kicking my ass. I'm like, man. Plus, I've been eating a lot lately. I don't know why. I was like, I got to slow down on the eating. Ever since COVID, I've been eating a lot. But let me show you guys what I got. Hold on. Alright. It's the winter blues. It's going to be the fat blues. So, for those of you that have subscriptions, hold on. All right. Let me shut me down. Hold on. Stop Banfield. All right. So I got black matches for the subscriptions. Remember I told you guys I was getting matches? Well, I got black matches. And I ordered crystal pieces for the top of the things. Look how pretty they are. For the crystal tops, I had to get purple. The agate pieces, pretty, right? So these are going on the crystal tops. And I spent 2 hours trying to find what to put them on. How am I going to attach them? And then Kimberly Machowski bought me this necklace and earring set. Kind of makes it look like I have a date, but. Then I bought these things to like attach the crystals because I couldn't figure out how to attach them. And that's that. So that's my project tonight, is attaching them. Not really sure how I'm attaching them, but I'm attaching them. I had to get my hair done. I think I'm dyeing it. Me and Sage are messing around with a color chart thingy, and I had my hair like this rose pink. It looked really pretty. I'd have to go white first though. My hair looks lovely, believe me. Absolutely lovely. Why is this attached? I'm telling you, we were messing around with this color thing, and yeah, I was like, wow, I look pretty good like this. I know, I have to go white first though. That's the problem. In order to get a true color I wanted, I would have to go white. So this chick scammed old people, which is the worst thing you can do. Literally scammed people and then try to deny it, saying that she didn't do it. It wasn't her. Meanwhile, it was her. Hang on. So she pled guilty in July to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in connection with telemarketing. I'm not totally understanding the wire fraud stuff. So feds wanted her locked up for 10 years, listing off numerous reasons why she's the most culpable person to charge in the case. She was sentenced in January along with 6.5 years in the pen. Then she gets 5 years probation. She got emotional in court, apologizing for what she did, although it's a little late. Then she says, with the proper medication, I can now see what happened. Bitch, you didn't need medication to know that she's in federal prison, Leslie. You don't need medication to know what you did was wrong. I can't stand people like this. Her sentence came with special conditions post-lockup. Most notably, she'll have to participate in a mental health treatment program. She did an interview with White Collar Advice shortly before reporting to prison. She talked about why it took a year to admit she was guilty, what she's going to bring to the prison with her, and her plans to document everything she experiences. So she's going to go to jail. She's going to write a book. She's going to come out, and she's going to act like she did nothing wrong. She got a tattoo on Wednesday before she went to prison. And she put her husband's name and her son's name. And yeah. She wishes she looked like Kim Kardashian. And then she filmed a bunch of stuff ahead of time. Oh, no, I don't think so, Amanda. I don't think she's getting out in a year at all. And they're saying that on January 5th, there was something, a woman came and said that her husband had dated 4 days after a restraining order in which she acknowledges that there was no affair. Scorned woman lied to prosecutors in an attempt to exchange her own revenge against Jen. So her upcoming sentence might have been stiffer thanks to a woman who informed the feds about a restraining order she once got against the reality star. Prosecutors want the judge to take that into account. I don't know if he did, but the feds say the woman reached out to them via a letter, and now the judge should take a look at how she described their interaction. I mean, this bitch is nuts. So the woman claims when Jen tried confronting her, she ignored her, which allegedly pissed off Jen to the point of her driving across state lines to try to see the woman in person. She alleges Jen showed up unannounced at her doorstep at 2:30 a.m. Woman eventually called the cops. In the end, the woman got her TRO granted. Unclear what came after that, but it seems prosecutors want a judge to hear about it and sentence her with it. She's crazy. Oh, no, he did do it? Oh, no. How sad. Anyone watch American Idol? Any American Idol fans here from a couple of years ago? Kelly Pickler's husband committed suicide. But if you're not a big American Idol person, you're not gonna know who that is. That's horrible. Dead by suicide at the couple's Nashville home. He shot himself in the upstairs bathroom. Yeah, she was dumb as fuck, though. Cops say Kelly was asleep, but woke a short time before the incident. When she did not see Kyle, she went looking for him, where she and an assistant were unable to open the upstairs bedroom door. They called 911. Why? Just why? Why would you do that to your wife? Who's in there? Out. Who is that? Out of the kitchen.
I was about to show Xander the workout in garage.
Oh. I just don't know why you would do that to your wife. Yeah, she was dumb as rocks. At least she pretended she was dumb as rocks. She had a great voice, though. That's so sad. Why would you do that to your wife? I don't get it. Oh yeah, I know Gerard's story.
Xander said hi.
Hi, Xander. That's what I'm saying. I would never do that in my own home.
Becky said the Bronx is crazy.
I agree. He admitted to driving. Who, Loba? Who driving? Good thing he didn't kill her too. I just don't know why you would do that to your wife. Ryan Seacrest is leaving New York. Yeah, Raquel Welch died too. Yeah, Xander's his cousin. It's Brad's nephew. Same reason kids do it to their parents. I'm mistaken about what? Mark Wahlberg sells his house for $55 million. Must be nice. She was 82. I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but why is everyone ripping on Raquel Welch? I mean, not Raquel Welch, on Rihanna. The COVID shot works. Cher's still kicking it. Look at Wahlberg's house. Could you imagine living there? Look at that. His theater's ugly. Beautiful entranceway. Ooh, it's purple. Purple and white bathroom. Why do you need a couch in your bathroom? What is the point? Like, think logically. What is the point of putting a chair in your bathroom? Are you going to hang out there? Like, seriously, you're going to hang out there and, chill out in the bathroom? Lip singing is one thing they were saying. Who? I like all those pink and purples. I don't like his window coverings. Those chairs are ugly. That's true. To put on socks or stockings, I'll go with that. Nice gym. Nice wine cellar. That's like a full gym. Very closed off, though. Nice yard. That's ugly. That's even uglier. That's hideous. But I don't like that brown wood. It's an ugly... I like dark wood. That's an ugly color wood. Just my opinion. Now that's a closet. That's my kind of closet. You can have a closet. That's how you have a closet. That's a nice ass closet. That's a kid's closet. That's a beautiful entranceway. I don't like his furniture though. I don't know who bought it. Small TV for the room. That's nice. Full basketball court. Look at that. I wonder who lives there.
Hey, Mom.
Everyone said hi, Xander.
Jason also said hi.
What's up?
Dude, can you mute real quick?
What?
Can you mute real quick?
Alright, hold on. I gotta mute real quick. What's
Bro,
up?
Xander told me that Shauna has so many warrants out for arrest.
That shit really?
He told me he has a lot. She has a lot. She'd be going for months.
Well, I'll catch up to her.
And then she's like, she's not even working, nothing. And also, guess what? I got some crazy shit to tell you.
What?
So Ryan had his friend Will over, right? I don't know if this is true. This is what Jason and Xander told me. From Leah, because it happened to Leah.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Hang on, guys. I'm going to put on Cuomo while Dayton's talking. Hold on.
And to get yourself through school the way you want to?
Honestly, I'm just there for an education. I feel scared going to school. I should not be feeling anxious or depressed or anything when trying to go to school.
Has the mood changed at all in the school? Is it kinder? Is it gentler after what happened to your friend?
I think everyone's in a depressed mood, but I think everyone is acting more kinder to everybody. It's just the staff.
Well, listen, this is a tough lesson, Haley, to have, especially at your age. And I really respect you honoring your friend by speaking up your voice about her and her beauty inside and out and the reality of your school. And we'll stay in touch. You let us know how it is. If you have a problem, you've got a friend in us to help you deal with that problem, okay?
Thank you.
Haley and Gesser, thank you, and I'm really sorry for the loss of your friend. I really am. You take care. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I mean, we can't do better than this. Seriously, we can't do better than this. Look, we got to collectively pay attention to things. That's what creates change. And that's why News Nation has been all over this East Palestine, Ohio situation with the train. It kind of just struck me, we had just come back from Ukraine, and I was watching the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, who I...
What did you guys hear? I had the mic muted, except when I said I'll put on Cuomo.
Come make some soup.
Some what?
Some soup.
Isn't there still egged up soup in
That's
the
what I'm gonna make.
Yeah, you can have it.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to the house. I'm gonna get off in a minute, though. I want to start doing these crystals. All right, back to his house. Look at that. He's got a golf course, everything. It wasn't muted? I turned my mic off. How'd you guys hear with the mic on? That's so weird. I literally turned the mic off. That looks like a penis. That's so weird. I mean, I literally turned it off. You could see that my microphone was blinking. That's so weird. That's crazy. It's just weird because I saw it blinking. Like, it should have been off. Let me test this. Hold on. Can you guys hear me now? Put a 1 in chat if you can hear me.
Mom, you didn't click that the second time.
No, not the second time. The first time. But it was blinking. Did you guys hear me then? That's so weird. I don't know why my mic's not turning off then. I mean, it's blinking, like it's showing that it's off. Damn, and Dayton told me my microphone's like $300.
Yeah, it is.
It's not what I paid. That's wild that it's not turning off the mute. Well, now I know. That's crazy. Because it's showing that it's blinking. Like, it showed it should have been muted. That's weird. Crazy. Somebody heard you because you picked up 20 views. Nah, it's not a big deal. I mean, that part, I'm glad you guys heard that part, not the other part. If I had to pick a part. Yeah, right, Coffee? Nah, if it was about something personal like that, he wouldn't have told me when I was on a live. He would have waited.
It has nothing to do with us. It's Lee and Xander.
I know. No. This part about Shauna.
Oh.
They heard it. My microphone is not kicking off. Even though it's blinking, which means it should be muted, it wasn't.
So they heard me?
They heard you talk about Shauna's warrants.
Oh, but not the other part?
No, not about the other part.
Oh. Well, at least it's nothing fucking nice.
Clip channels have their fingers on the record button. I know, right? Nah, Shauna's Brad's sister. She used to be like my best friend, and she's long gone. Long gone from the person I knew. And that's sad. Really sad. But what can you do? So also in the news of life, I am going to be selling wax melts. I'm going to put them on the website tonight. You're going to get 5 packs for $10, $2 a piece. Minimum of 5. It's recycled wax. I know that sounds weird. No, it didn't burn down to nothing. But I made a ton. I made like over 200 wax melts from wax that I was using as testing, where I light just to see how the wick is. So I decided, instead of throwing away all this wax, I was turning them into wax melts. And yeah, some of it's never even been touched because I didn't like the way the wick performed, so like didn't even burn. So I'm gonna call it recycled wax because technically it kind of is. The only catch to it is you don't get to pick your scent. It's whatever 5 you get. And I figure it's a good way not to waste wax. So those will be on the site today. Yes, I'm doing those tonight, Joy. I am still selling them. I have them. Good way to use it, right? And it's cheap, and yeah, just $2 a thing with a minimum of 5. You want 20, you can have 20, but yeah, all different scents. And I labeled all of them today. And repurposed wax, thank you. Repurposed. Yeah, because a lot of times, like if I'm testing out a new wick, I'll light it. I'll know within 5 minutes if I like the wick or not. And if I like it, I let it keep burning. If I don't like it, I blow it out. And then I have all this wax. I don't know what to do with them. Yeah, that's another thing. Also, some of these wax melts are creations that I came up with, like different scents that I came up with that I either didn't like or the color was wrong or something. So yeah, those are in there too. So I mean it's same quality wax. Upcycled wax. No, repurposed. That's it. Repurposed. But I literally now have like over 200 of these wax melts. I'm almost, the case is $250 and I used almost the whole case. A vanilla bourbon rollerball or a candle? Because I haven't made bourbon oils. Don't say you don't like. No, because if I personally don't like it, I don't even know what to name it. So a lot of times, like the kids always say, Mom, can I have a candle? Mom, give me a candle. So I'll give them these candles, you know, ones that I don't think can sell. Or bourbon rollerball. I don't have oil. I don't have essential oil for bourbon though. I just got this new peppermint essential oil. Oh my God, it smells amazing. It's really, really super strong. But big things coming, and Patreons. I know any Patreon in Discord knows the case that I'm starting on Monday. The rest of you, I will put it in there tonight. Members, I'll let you guys know Sunday. Yes, Joy. Last night I was up till 5 in the morning updating the website. I know some of you guys don't like Molly, but Molly and I put together a candle line for Molly. Includes diamonds, and I had to work on that last night because a lot of her people were asking me for it, and it's picked out the right scents with her, and it's going to be beautiful. Earth-friendly repurpose. Absolutely. Mystery wax melts. I like that. I like that. Mystery wax melts, because they are a mystery. When I'm worried about dementia, I'd be considered about all the carcinogens and those. Excuse me. I do not have carcinogens in my candles. My candles are 150% all natural. The wax that I use is FDA approved. Yes, it is. It is an organic FDA approved. No, she wasn't, Bad Wolf. She made a donut and doesn't know what it is, and it was so good. Yes, because the donuts I also make with, you know, wax that I come up with, or that's why. As I told Marissa's chat, your candles are beautiful and smells gorgeous. Thank you, Joy. Marissa's always been a big supporter of my candles, though. She really has, from day one, even when we were fighting. So one thing she never said anything bad about was my candles. She blamed you for Why would I block you? I wasn't even in there today. Mystery box candle boxes. Some people get into mystery box. That's true. You know what, Coffee? That's a really good idea. I didn't even think of that. That's a really good idea. Yeah, but color has nothing to do with it, Southern Gal. It was probably bergamot and thank you, Kaz. Erica, you got it. It was probably bergamot and sandalwood, because I actually just remelted a bunch of purplish gray ones, and that's what they were. So I have a feeling that's what it is. I'm going to take a guess and say that's what you had. And I literally just made some of those last night. Purplish gray, strong. It was most likely the bergamot and sandalwood. It's one of my favorite scents. There you go, Joy. We'll take them. Sage leaves for college. Who would block me? Does she know you're a mod for me? I wouldn't block. I don't block anybody. And that's also why I've been putting YouTube like second, is I'm trying to get the website done. I'm, because Valentine's Day, then you got to update it. Then I had to update, every time I have to add a new candle on there. I have to write about it. I have to set up the whole thing. It's not easy. Like, it's a whole business in itself. Then I got to update social media. I finally figured out Instagram, and, there is like a ton of stuff. We'll take it, Joy. Then send it to one of those big mystery box YouTubers who does unboxings. No, that's a really good idea, Coffee. I want to get the boxes. Like, I have the boxes, but I was looking to order boxes, like pre-printed. They're just so expensive. Well, that was a delayed response. Well, that's what we tell people as creators. I don't have a P.O. box. I just have my regular address. I'll email it to you, Joy. Although you can find it anywhere on the internet. But that's a great idea, mystery box. Excellent. Excellent idea. So, all right, I'm going to get off, though, because I got to figure out how to attach these, because I bought different things to attach them, and I'm not sure any of them are going to work, but we're going to try. We're going to see. See, no, I can get white boxes. I like the black boxes, because if I have anything on my hands, the black boxes, you can't tell. Now, the black boxes that I'm currently using are more than I ever wanted to spend on a box, but they are top notch. And anyone that's gotten a candle from me in the box, you know what I'm talking about. They are top notch. I just got to figure out how to label them. I'm sure if I got my Cricut working and I actually figured it out, it would be easy breezy. But of course, that's another project that I haven't started yet. Even though I keep saying I'm going to. It's one of many. So, all right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Wish me luck on these crystals and the tops. And hopefully they attach right. Tape that you can have printed with the design. Yes, I know. That's my last option. But I do have a Cricut. I just haven't figured out how to use it yet. And once I figure that out, I want to do like foils. Like there's a lot of things I want to do. But I know I could go on Etsy and order them. But last time I did that, they didn't stick well. They stuck like shit. So that wouldn't work. But on that note, all right, I'm out. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you tomorrow. And then don't forget, Monday we start the new formula. Hopefully it works. Really good case. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. A lot of you guys know about it already. And starting next week, Patreon's members, you guys will have videos prior. This week, I'm still getting back to the swing of things. It may even take me, I don't want to make promises I can't keep. It may even take me a little while to get into the swing of it. But eventually we will get in the swing of it, and Patreons will get videos 5 days prior to anybody. Members will get it after that, and once we get into the swing. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Just give me a little while to come back from COVID and get everything in order and make everything right. Once we get in the swing, we'll be in the swing. And then it's nonstop. So, all right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Peace.